let's now speak to Sir Roger Gale, the Conservative MP for North Thanet. Sorry, I said South Thanet earlier. North Thanet, who very recently visited the Manston Detention Centre in Kent. So, Roger, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ayesha.
Tell us about your experience when you visited the detention centre. What did you see? What were your impressions?
Well, I have visited Manston, the facility at Manston, on a number of occasions, as you would expect. It's in my constituency. So yesterday was, yes, in the light of allegations most recently, but merely one in the sequence of a number of visits. There's absolutely no doubt that in the last month, the situation has deteriorated. I'm terribly sorry if you can hear a noise in the background. It's my dog eating his dinner, and there's not much I can do about it.
It's a dog's dinner, this show. Do not worry, Roger, literally.
It's a dog's dinner, you're absolutely right. The situation has deteriorated. The facility is horribly overcrowded. Not disastrously so, as some have suggested, but it is overcrowded, and it's making life difficult for both the people there and for the staff, of course. Up until a month ago, it was a very well-run transit camp where people were being processed and then moved on to other locations. In the last month, two things have happened. First of all, there's been a very significant increase in the number of Albanian young men, as you rightly said, crossing the Channel. And they are economic migrants. There's no question but that they are not refugees, as distinct from those coming in from Afghanistan and Syria and various other war-torn, sad places. So there's been that increase. And also, in tandem with that, there has been a shortage, a desperate shortage of locations to move the asylum seekers onto, which has caused the logjam. But the allegations of an outbreak of diphtheria, which is one of the things I heard, or people sleeping on the floor, is very wide of the mark indeed. There were, in fact, 4 cases of diphtheria which came in from abroad, from overseas.
Okay.
They weren't transmitted there.
Okay.
Those 3 of those 4 cases were isolated, and 1 was taken to hospital.
And so, Roger, I mean, this is a subject that you've studied for a long time because of your constituency. What are some of the realistic solutions? I mean, this is a problem which successive Home Secretaries, successive governments have been grappling with. What can realistically be achieved?
I think that it is hugely welcome that Rishi Sunak is seeking to build bridges with France, with President Macron. As indeed, to be fair, Liz Truss went to Prague and again sought to rebuild some bridges. Because the only way this is going to be resolved, and by the way, it's not a French problem, and it's not a British problem. It's a wider pan-European problem. And by that, I don't just mean the European Union. If we're going to resolve this, if we're going to resolve the whole migration issue, which affects Italy and Greece as well as the United Kingdom, then we're going to have to address it on a pan-European basis. And there isn't a quick fix. And we're not going to stop people moving. And up to a point, nor should we want to, because we've got shortage of labor in this country. So what we do need is a sensible quota system, proper routes, proper management, and then equally the facility to remove people when they are found to be not genuine asylum seekers, as is the case with most of the young Albanian men. And if we can do that, then I think we can carry the public with us. But it's a highly emotive issue. And when I appear on programs like yours, saying what I'm saying now, I get flack from hard left and hard right, particularly revoltingly from the hard right. And I don't frankly care for any of it very much. And I will not myself play dog whistle politics of the let's ship them all off to Rwanda kind.
And so, and I think you make a really important point, and I raised this with Dame Diana Johnson from the Home Affairs Select Committee, who, of course, is a Labour MP but is the chair. And, you know, wherever you sit on with your political views, this situation is an absolute mess, and it does have to be dealt with in a way which is practical and humane, and we have to have these conversations about it, which is why I'm very grateful that you're on the show. I mean, you've just mentioned the Rwanda plan. I mean, do you think the government should Do you think it would be wise for Rishi right now, Rishi Sunak, to just say, look, we're going to scrap this programme because it's clearly, lots of people don't like it and it's not working and it's costing a lot of money. Would he be sensible to do that now and just crack on with, some more practical, achievable things, for example, the things you've just talked about?
Yes, we need a grown-up solution. We don't need populist nonsense. The Rwanda policy will not work. And by the way, we shouldn't be blaming the ECHR for everything as well. The European Court of Human Rights, not to be confused with the European Court of Justice, and a lot of people do confuse them or conflate them. But the European Court of Human Rights is there to do a job of work, and it does that job slowly in far too many cases, but pretty well. Don't blame them. This is a tragic international situation that has to be resolved. We're not going to solve it by populist, redneck, dog whistle solutions, which aren't solutions at all. Rwanda will not work legally, morally, or practically. So, yes, get rid of it. And I applaud the fact that Rishi Sunak has made this approach to Monsieur Macron. And I hope that that will lead to people sitting down around a table and then sitting down around the bigger European table to thrash out a solution that will help us, but also Greece and Italy and other countries that are affected.